Look at 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 5. And there's a lot to share from this. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 5. This is talking about how couples are supposed to treat each other. Good sermon. It says, and do not deprive one another except for consent for a time, that you may give yourself to fasting and prayer. He's letting you know the only reason why you'll be married and you're not going to engage in sex, at least for a short while, is that you are fasting and praying. He says that's the only permissible reason. He says, but even this, he says, when you're done, come together again quickly. He says, so that Satan does not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. Listen, he's telling you that the enemy can actually use this against you. He can fashion your weakness as a weapon because he tries everything and they don't work. And you know what I think? We don't emphasize this enough in church, because to overcome sexual temptation, we emphasize prayer, we emphasize fasting, and rightly so. But here is another one. And listen to me. If you eat well at home, the food outside won't enter your eye. They speak parable. You do understand? The Bible is telling you this is one of the ways to avoid the snare of Satan. He said, come back again so that the devil won't tempt you. Not every time, spiritual macho man, I will not fall. I will not fall. My friend, go and eat at home. So for those of you who are married, I'm asking you now, prophetic question. Are you eating well? Are you eating well? See, let me tell you something. One of the ways to fight spiritual warfare, apart from praying, fasting, you and your wife satisfy each other. Oh my God. This is one of the ways to keep the devil far. You know what? Let's read the previous verses. Look at verse 3. Just so that you see verse 2. Verse 2. Verse 2. It says, nevertheless, because of sexual immorality, let each man have his own what? So listen. One of the ways to avoid sexual immorality, marry. You know, sometimes you see 33-year-old men come to me, sir, I don't know, I'm struggling. You will struggle. What do you mean? At your age? If you are not struggling, it's a prayer point, don't you know? 35-year-old, I don't know why I'm struggling. You don't know? Listen, there is a reason. It is until you get to a particular age that the body parts responsible for reproduction begin to develop. That is nature and God telling you, my friend, it's time. Are you getting what I'm saying? And so one of the most wicked things that have happened in culture is that when you are supposed to be married, you are still writing jam. Selah. Look at verse 3 of that verse. This verse is very spiritual. 1 Corinthians 7:3. Are you ready? Before we read the speaking tongues first. Speaking tongues. It says, let the husband do what? Render to his wife the affection due her. And likewise also the wife to her husband. Handle your business at home well. Please, are you listening to me? I hope you know I'm not joking. Listen, there are many sexless marriages, and some of you, your problem will be reduced by half if you just took this word very seriously. Those of you married, after this word, go home and act on the word of God. Act on the word of God immediately. Put the word of God to work. See, I'm telling you that spiritual warfare. Are you listening to me?